Hello, everybody, and welcome to Beyond Sports, where we're going to be as special sports.
Yeah, we do.
Tim's not here.
Tim isn't here.
He's not here.
Had a long week.
He has a long week, and he got worn out by this surprisingly good slate of football today.
Yeah, incredible slate of football. The slate of football that should not have been. That
no, it had no business entertaining us like
everybody was like, "Oh, this is gonna be the worst week." I mean, for prime time.
In our defense, we had to sit through the fucking Raiders and Jets.
Yeah, we got punished.
We did, but it wasn't the worst game.
It was an entertaining game.
It came down to the end.
Yeah.
With not like, I mean, the ending wasn't shocking.
No.
Zach Wilson throwing an interception is not the.
It was a step better than Colts Patriots.
That was rude. That was mean. At least they gave him the Dolphins Chiefs last week, because otherwise that would have been awful if that was the one game they got.
Here, do you want a game that ends? What was it, like 10-3 or something? Like, it was just terrible.
10-6, I think it was.
10-6. Yeah,
it was.
Good God,
it was painful, and
we've already talked too much about it.
Yes, honestly. Absolutely, and those are two. They're going no.
The Zappy thing was funny, that they pulled Mack and threw in Zappy for like the last drive of the game or something,
and it was awful.
And he throws an interception, just throws the worst interception ever
on a fake spike play.
Right to three different guys, like three different defenders, just right to them.
Yeah,
it's just Uncle Rico's the fuck out of
it. Yeah, but anyway, let's talk about some good football.
Okay, right. Bears Panthers. Here we go.
Bears Panthers. No, we're not talking about the primetime games.
Oh, what? No, that one also came down to the wire. Can't talk about that one.
Dude, I don't.
I tried to watch that game.
Where no matter who lost, the Bears won, right?
Exactly. Like the Bear. I knew the outcome of that game, and it was the Bears were happy.
The Bears were just trying to protect their number one overall pick by ensuring that the Panthers keep losing.
Exactly. Like they were like, if the Panthers win this game, they might go on a win streak, and we can't be having that.
Can't do that.
Can't let that happen.
Or at that time they would have made them like a game better than the Cardinals, and couldn't have that happen.
No, don't want to have that happen. And also, we know that we can control our team winning or losing, because we can just not put Justin Fields back in.
Yeah, he's not having it.
We know that our backup's good enough to beat you guys, but we are certain that he's not good enough to beat anybody else.
I don't know that my soul can take watching Marvin Harrison go to one of these teams.
Ooh, I mean,
Chicago, at least if it's Chicago, they're getting a quarterback along with them.
It doesn't matter.
And he'll have DJ Moore along on the other side. And
where good players go to die on offense.
But I'm saying, like, if he can go there, they're stacking the deck a little bit. If it's Chicago,
nothing's ever going to.
We've seen some wide receivers do okay-ish in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall were a nice tandem.
Right. Alshon Jeffrey did good for that year or two.
He was good. He had a good start of his career. He had a good 4-year run there, and then he came to Philadelphia and had a good year or two. But
anyways, I guess
to the slate of games that were good.
Yeah, man. Should we kick it off with Texas or the Texans and Bengals?
Texans and Bengals. The Texans stay hot. They beat the Bengals 30-27 in walk-off fashion. CJ Stroud, is he that dude?
Dude, for the second week in a row, he has led a game-winning drive.
Yeah, and I mean, today he threw his second pick of the season.
Yeah,
he
still came back, man. I mean, we gotta give it, since he was down 10 in the fourth quarter, came back to tie it up.
Yeah,
but left him just a little too much, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got
40 seconds left or something like that.
It's awesome, man. I mean,
Well, didn't Burrow throw 2 picks today?
I believe so.
You know, we can pull up the box score here and see what happened. Yeah, okay, yeah. He threw you a couple picks, you know.
Yeah, not his best day, but he was. I
He
mean, it
threw
was
for
real.
347 yards. Like it's not like
Yeah.
it was
Not like he was.
27 to 40, you know. But yeah, can't have those.
It's not like when Zach Wilson throws 2 picks and has 104 yards passing.
Yeah, and one of them is
And
to
the
lose the game.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
So-
Texans are becoming just that team you don't want to see.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Because I mean,
yeah.
they got some decent running backs down there.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
Nico
how they
Collins.
scored a lot of their points. Stroud only had the 1 touchdown, right?
yeah. So
He had another running one though. But he only had 1 throwing.
For me,
Um,
DeMeco Ryans is coach of the year.
It's so far. I don't know who else you're giving it to. It's absolutely D'Amico, right?
But the Texans were universally picked to finish at the bottom of that dog shit division.
Yeah, and now it's looking like the Jaguars better watch the fuck out because the Texans are getting
Jaguars
real
and
hot.
Colts, for the Texans and Colts are both 1 game back.
yeah.
I
And
mean,
listen, like
and-
this, we all expected Jacksonville to take a leap forward. Don't forget, this team won what 8 games last year, Sam. They weren't They weren't that good of a football team. They won
Who,
a playoff.
Jacksonville?
Yeah, they made the playoffs off the last game of the year. They won like 7
Yeah.
or 8 or 9 games.
They won 9. They
Okay,
won that
so
stretch, and then they won a
so
playoff.
10
And
so
then they won a playoff.
it was
game.
against the Chargers who Brandon Staley's allergic to winning and holding a lead in the playoffs.
I don't care. They were okay.
Okay,
First of all, they started the season off though like 2-6, and then they came all the way back. They had that
Yeah.
hot run at the end of the year.
Exactly.
It
There's
looked like they were
6
putting things together. They get in the playoffs. They win a playoff game. They hold their own against the Chiefs. They didn't.
Yeah,
we
they're
didn't blow them
they're
out
just
or
like the
anything.
Dolphins.
They
They're
had
just
chances
the
in that game. And so we all thought that, yeah, that was a great year. You're building up something. Now you need to take the next step. And
They're leading their division at this point. They lost to the Niners.
they just don't.
They lost to a team that was in the NFC Championship game last year.
It looked like they took a step last year from like the beginning of the year to the end of the year. You're like, okay, you guys definitely did because you started out really bad, you ended up really hot and good, but it doesn't seem like they've taken a step after that. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think that they're a much better team, but I think that they're also, you also still have Calvin Ridley who is reacclimating to the game of football. I thought he's played fairly decent for them. Some weeks are big, but they spread the ball around a little more.
Yeah.
ETN's had a couple huge games. When you see him get involved a lot, that's when they're really good. When they have him going.
And I get this is only their 3rd loss.
Exactly. They're not
that bad. I just
think-
need to see maybe just like a win over a quality opponent. Are they beat
I
the
agree.
Bills?
They're similar to the Dolphins. I'm not going to disagree. They're very similar to them. But yeah, they beat the Bills, I think.
Yeah. Although the Bills aren't doing great right now. But
yeah, I mean, they're over 5. I get what you're saying. I mean, they're not the best
still
team.
seem like okay, you
Right now,
are
the,
good
right now
enough
the
to
Texans loss looks better than the Jaguar or the Bills win.
Kind of does, yeah, at this point in time. I mean, that's the
can't give a team more credit for losing than another team did. Okay. All right. That's like how everybody started praising Josh Allen for losing that game to Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Just
yeah.
hey. But Trevor Lawrence is also not taking the step that I wanted to see him take either this year.
Yeah, that's another thing that we were kind of expecting him to start putting up, 300 to 3 touchdown games, and
He's not
that's
doing
just hasn't been the case.
Today.
Isn't it kind of funny that I think
bad.
isn't it funny that he's played better once he had that 3-week stretch where he played a little bit better, and it was when he was injured. Like he hurt his knee and then he suddenly started playing a little bit better. I was like, why? Why are you playing better when you're dinged up? Like he was moving around a little better in the pocket, using his mobility a little bit more. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing the rest of the time?
I don't know, man. Things get weird like that. Maybe he knows he has to get the ball out quicker. Who knows? But today was not a good day for him.
I think that is.
But Cincinnati's still last in their division.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's crazy. Oh yeah, I forgot we're talking about their game. About
the Bills and Bengals will both be out.
Yeah. That would be crazy because you look at it and man, a couple of the wild card teams are probably going to come from the north, and it may not be the Bengals. Still, like,
Yeah. I can't believe that the Steelers would get in over the Bengals. That doesn't compute to me.
Steelers just keep winning. I also need to see them beat like. I mean, I guess they have the Steelers beat the Ravens earlier in the year, right? And the Browns.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man.
Hey, Mike Tomlin just kind of owns that division, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Mike Tomlin's just like a good coach, no matter who. Mike Tomlin should get fucking coach of the year. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you could nominate him every year.
yeah.
just fucking about, dude.
I mean,
the guy's never been under 500.
The Steelers are one of those teams that you want to criticize their schedule, but you're like, dude, they can only beat the teams they have to play. And it's not like they're
in the best division in football. It's not like their schedule is going to be easy.
I mean, yeah, and they've only played the 2 division games.
But they won them.
They did. They won them both. But I mean, yeah, you look at it and it's like it's not that hard of a schedule, but they have good wins. I mean, at the time that they beat the Rams, it was a pretty decent win.
I mean, let's see. Okay, the Jags beat the Steelers, so the Jags do have a quality win over a good opponent, and the Bills. So the Jags.
Because the way to beat the Steelers is to not let it be a game in the fourth quarter.
Exactly. You got to put them out.
Kenny Pickett shows up.
You got to make sure.
Oh yeah, Kenny Pickett is Mac Jones.
You have to make sure they are done by the fourth quarter. Yeah, Kenny Pickett is Mac Jones until the fourth quarter when he becomes Tom Brady. Like, I don't fucking get it. I've never seen a dude be so bad for 3 quarters and then just turn it on the fourth. Except for like this is like Tim Tebow shit. Like,
oh god,
when he's doing nothing all fucking game, and then all of a sudden at the very end he just pulls off a drive to win the game. Like his defense just keeps him around, just keeps them in the game, just make sure that they're close enough so that at the end of it can pull off a miracle last drive.
Speaking of their defense, they lost Quan Alexander for the year today.
That hurts.
Yes. But I know it's gonna sound heartless, but I mean it was bound to happen. Quan hasn't played a full season in how long?
Yeah.
I mean,
like this,
you root for the guy to do it, but I mean, like, it's kind of an annual thing.
I mean, yeah, I know.
Dating back to when he was with the Niners.
I know, it's like waiting for Christian McCaffrey to get hurt. You just know it's.
I mean, like you hope it doesn't happen, but deep down you're like, it's probably gonna happen.
It's gonna happen, right? I'm still waiting for that with Lamar. I'm like, is Lamar Jackson gonna get hurt again?
Yeah, Odell. Like anybody on the Ravens.
Yeah, it's just about that time of year.
Yeah. I mean, the weather's getting colder out.
Yeah.
Those hits start to hurt more when it's this cold. So.
Did we actually move on from the Bengals index?
Yeah.
Dude, that's a great game, though.
Great game. CJ Stroud continues to move the needle. I mean, it's almost assuredly his. He's going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year. Congratulations, CJ Stroud. Woo, you won Rookie of the Year because Bryce Young hasn't done a damn thing.
Already locked it up. The Falcons refused to use Bijan enough.
Yeah.
So
then you have Anthony Richardson's done for the year. I mean, it's you. You did it.
You did it, man. You're already there. Probably don't even have to throw another pass, and you've got it.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. But also, in other walk-off news, we have the Seahawks beating the Commies 29-26 and another surprisingly good football game.
Very good football game.
And I don't know why it's even surprisingly good because they're both teams that every time they play, it's entertaining.
Yeah, the Commies can stay in it.
What's that?
But not last week. The Ravens fucking steamrolled.
Well, no, every time the Seahawks and Commanders have a matchup for some reason, those two teams, no matter what logo is on the helmet of the Commies, they always have decent matchups. Dating back to the RG3 Russell Wilson playoff game.
Sam Howell made some throws.
Sam Howell's a dude.
I need to see more consistency out of him.
More consistency, but first full year starting.
Yeah.
I think that he's shown a lot of promise and enough promise for them to continue moving forward with him after this season.
That's true.
I think that Sam Howell has shown you more in this season than Daniel Jones has shown you over the whole of his career.
Yeah.
in the same division. I mean, I think I'd be like, yeah, I'm taking Sam Howell if I'm
Like,
starting a franchise over that dude.
That's true. Like, I know they lost today, but not because of him.
No, I mean, they just traded away two very good defensive ends not long ago. This team showed their hand of what they're doing.
Right. They already showed that they're kind of tanking, but they're not.
Yeah, they're
You
just
gotta lose more than this, guys. Like, I know you're 4-6, but like,
Yeah, they've already won 4.
I know.
That's not good news.
Yeah, not for them.
You better sign some dudes
But
off
yeah,
the street. Put them out there.
Sam, and hey, maybe the enemy is also showing that, this
Yeah.
team normally is, besides that last week with the Ravens, this team normally isn't losing because of their offense.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty universally accepted to be enemies. Got this offense looking really good.
yeah. I mean, I
Consider-
mentioned it a couple weeks ago after the Eagles played the Commanders. I am so glad the Eagles survived the Eric Bieniemy stretch of their schedule and came away without taking a loss because very good. He made that team very competitive against us. He had our number both matchups.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone would be surprised if they promoted the enemy.
Yeah, I've said it multiple times. I think that obviously because of the respect that he has around the league, it won't happen. But Eric Bieniemy should finish this season as their head coach. But Ron Rivera is a very respected head coach in the league, so I don't think that he gets axed.
Fired midseason.
Especially because you look at the side of the ball that's losing them games, is the side of the ball that Ron's actually got his finger on the pulse of because he's a defensive-minded coach.
That he should, yeah.
Especially when it's coming from your secondary, Ron. Like, that's something that's always been a staple of yours. So
yeah, because today, I mean, dude, the commies had the
Seahawks.
The Seahawks had a lot of yards on them.
Yeah, I mean, you put up Gino threw for 369.
And they ran for over 100.
Yeah, 120 as a team.
20, like, that's real bad.
DK, Lockett, Jigba, they all produced on him. Kenneth Walker.
Oh yeah, Kenneth Walker.
64-yard. Yeah.
But
yeah, but that wasn't even the last comeback that we have to talk about. Not last comeback, not even the last walk off.
Seahawks walked it off with a game-ending field goal. Walking it off there. Gino led a nice drive to get him into a range and go off, just like CJ Stroud did.
Yeah, proving that he's got that last year's comeback player of the year run wasn't just last year's run. Gino's still got stuff to prove.
He's still pretty good.
Gino. Good. I like Gino still, and I like that. It seems like Seattle's in on him.
He's good for that. He seems pretty good for that team, at least.
Yeah.
If they could have the defense that they had, they could have their 2013 defense, right?
Yeah, I mean,
timer, but yeah, I think they would be another Super Bowl contending team. I don't think Gino is the guy who's going to lose you games.
No.
I really wonder what the long-term plan is in Seattle.
Yeah, I think that's a good question.
I don't know if because you don't think Gino's the long term, but
all right, there's no way they can be like thinking that they can't be thinking that they're going to win a Super Bowl. Not this year.
I mean, the problem I see is Gino's going to be good enough. Gino's going to be good enough to keep you out of that top tier quarterback draft range.
He's going to Kirk Cousins you.
Yeah, that's what.
So, and they really missed out on an opportunity this year to kind of parlay some of those extra picks into a quarterback.
You're going to have, but that's what you're going to need to do because the Chiefs were stuck in that as well with Alex Smith.
Yeah. I mean,
but we, made some moves and we got
I think they're done with the extra first round picks from the Broncos.
Yeah, did they already give up all those?
That's what I think. I think
they only got 2.
Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, they selected good players. Like, they've done right. I mean,
yeah.
Because I mean, they got Woolen this year at cornerback, or not Woolen, Witherspoon.
Yeah,
Witherspoon, and I mean they took Smith and Jigba.
Don't Yeah, I didn't
Last
see
year
him
they
as a
got
Super Bowl
woolen.
team for sure, but
They got like 5 starters in the draft last year on offense and defense. So, I mean,
they could still be building. You know, we'll see.
they're doing well in the draft. Like,
And that's really all my only question was like, what's their plan at quarterback? Because
yeah, I mean, I think that their plan is kind of because if you remember when they won the Super Bowl with Russ, he was just a guy. You know, he wasn't a superstar when they won the Super Bowl. He was a young guy he was a
He
young
was
guy
flashy, and
he had mobility, but they played within a
Oh,
system, you know, with them. And I mean, he was able to. It was a lot of they were running first football team
they
that
were.
worked well on the play action, and I think that they're trying to win it with a guy that they can pay cheap. They want the team to be good enough to carry him. Is my thought. That they just want a kind of guy that they can plug in, you know. And that's what it feels like. Gino's good enough to just be plugged in, I think. It's just that the team around him needs to be elevated a little bit more.
Right. Because he's not a guy who's gonna elevate your team. But he's not a guy who's gonna lose you the game.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point,
Gino's already what, 33?
I think so, yeah.
Been around for a little bit.
He can't. I mean, his
Yeah, I
first
mean,
year.
you got to be thinking
I'm
Yeah, I
sure
mean,
they are.
beyond Gino.
I mean, they also have Drew Lock on the roster. They kept him around. I know. They kept him around, and maybe their thought is that after enough time on their bench, that because think about it, we laughed last year whenever we heard the quarterback duel battle was between Drew Lock and Geno Smith. That was funny to a lot of people, me
Yeah.
included, because Geno Smith hadn't broke out yet. He had been a failed backup 2nd-round pick, who had a chance as a starter, kind of like Drew Lock. So,
Okay.
yeah. And I mean, less expectations than he
Well,
had.
at the very best, we know he's not as good as Geno Smith.
Yeah, I agree. I don't disagree at this
I
stage.
mean, where's that?
But also, like I said, Geno Smith needed time to, he sat on the bench for how long before he got another opportunity?
Yeah, but he's on the fucking Jets.
Jets, Giant. He was on the Jets, Giants, Jets, Seahawks.
Yeah.
As a backup.
Yeah. And,
on those teams.
What's his name was on the Broncos.
Yeah.
When
as a starter. Yeah, it wasn't a good starting situation. You don't.
Yeah. But
I'm just saying, like, eventually.
No better situation for him. Anyways.
Yeah. Anyways, another game that ended in walk-off fashion today. Lions and Chargers.
What a game. That might have been like, dude, just a shootout the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, both quarterbacks went off.
That game was awesome.
Both quarterbacks went off. You had
the running backs
going off. Like, it was just an offensive powerhouse. Like,
yeah, I mean, the Lions had 200 rushing yards as a team.
The Lions had 200 rushing yards, dude. Every time you looked at it, it looked like they were just fucking running for another 20 yards. And then still Jared Goff threw for over 300. Like, I don't
like how
so much damn offense, dude. Every time you looked up, the team was scoring, especially in the second half, dude.
I thought when the Lions moved off of both of their running backs from last year that their running game was going to take a step back. But with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, it's not missed a beat. It's been this is a good running system. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely more upside in this running back room.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Jahmyr Gibbs was kind of a dumb. Like, you could have re-signed DeAndre Swift for a couple $1 million and used that draft pick on any number of awesome players.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs has looked awesome when he's been like the couple games where he was the number featured.
Got a couple of touchdowns today. So
yeah, 2 tutties today.
And dude, Jared Goff, like, what the fuck, man? How did he look so bad under McVay? Except for that 1 year when he looked really good.
I think a lot of it was McVay lost trust in him.
Yeah.
And I think that's after the Super Bowl. I think that McVay didn't ever trust him, and that's really when you saw him slip.
Probably put too much blame on Jared Goff for that Super Bowl loss.
And really that it was just because it was a system that was only built around Todd Gurley at the time. That was before the Cooper Kupp explosion.
Right.
And I mean, it was built on a running back who when he came into the league was one hit away from retirement.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
But then, I mean, Goff goes and he like, earns his draft status, right? Because it wasn't like the second overall taken.
he was first overall.
First
Jared
overall.
Goff was the first overall draft pick for the Rams, right before Carson Wentz.
So then he looks he's starting to look like it, man.
Yeah, so let's talk about that full circle thing right there. In 2016, I believe it was, the Rams took Jared Goff first overall over Carson Wentz.
Mhm.
They then traded Jared Goff to the Detroit Lions for Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford then gets hurt. The Rams then signed Carson Wentz.
Whoa.
Whoa. Next year, Carson Wentz can torture a fucking fourth franchise by with his offseason picture and his warm-up gear.
Hey, man, and all these guys were kind of involved in a Super Bowl. Like Jared Goff and Matt Stafford directly. Then Carson Wentz, like, he got hurt in that year that they won the Super Bowl, but he looked good up until he got hurt that year. Carson Wentz was the MVP favorite.
Against the Rams.
The Rams. Oh, he got hurt against the Rams. Man,
he did.
Talk about full circle. All right. I mean,
I'm pretty sure all of us were in agreement before the season that this was the situation that was going to arise for Carson Wentz. We said Matthew Stafford was going to suffer some type of injury, and Carson Wentz was going to finally get signed around midseason to the Rams. I
don't know if we guessed it would be the Rams, but
I think we actually did.
Okay.
I honestly think that at one point, one of us mentioned that Carson Wentz would sign with the Rams at some point. Okay. And it would be this exact prediction.
None of us thought Baltimore.
No, because Baltimore, I think they know. They would.
They like their backup, right?
Yeah, they have Tyler Huntley, I think.
Yeah, they still have Huntley.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I mean, like you were saying, this game, every time I looked at my phone, this game was going off more. Because I was watching Red Zone on my phone.
Keenan Allen, first of all, goddamn, I hate that dude's in our division. That
dude
is just too fucking good. Like every time I'm looking up, that dude's making a catch. And making a great one too. Like just some fucking plays. We need a guy like
that. Yeah.
And then of course on the other side of the ball, Amon-Ra doing work as he always does.
Yeah.
They're using like that. Dan Campbell's using him in really fun ways. Like they were doing weird running plays for him and stuff. Like one of his touchdowns was on a running play. Yeah, there was he got a couple of carries. I was mistaken, he did not get a touchdown rushing the ball, but
okay.
They're trying to they know he's a playmaker.
Yeah,
they're finding ways.
I must have either remembered something else or they got called back for a penalty or something. But it's weird watching the game. Those two teams look so similar to me. Like it looks like they look like the two same teams, but one's 7-2 and one's 4-5.
And what do you think the big difference could be? Because I have ideas.
I have a very big idea.
You want to say coaching?
Yeah, I definitely want to say coaching. That's exactly what I was going to say.
I really don't think coaching had a lot to do with it today.
Yeah, I mean, it might not have today, but I think as a whole on the season,
today was just a.
I think coaching had a lot to do.
The Chargers are going to play to the level of their opponent and lose by 3.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of the Chiefs.
I just think that the Lions are always ready. They want to go to battle for Dan Campbell.
Yeah,
these players want to fight for him, and I don't think Brandon Staley has that type of grasp on his team.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Brandon Staley is not a guy who is inspiring, right?
Yeah.
Who sparks that.
That's probably fair. I mean, I think it'd be fair to say that the Chargers obviously have some players that fight that way. I mean, Keenan Allen is always.
Oh, Keenan Allen has fought for fucking every coach he's had. I mean,
his balls. Dude.
But I think the Lions all 22.
Yeah. All 53.
All 53, yeah.
Yeah, I think every player that's active, I think it's similar to what you're seeing like with the Raiders right now, how every player on that team's fighting for Antonio Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of that's because he's not Josh McDaniels. is one thing.
I
But I
mean,
think
there's always going to be. I think as a player, there's always going to be some burnout if, like, for 3 years you're supposed to be that team taking the next step and you just haven't.
yeah. So I
Oh,
think that
for
it's
sure.
I think it's
we're
good that the
seeing it-
Lions are taking that step.
Yeah, and then the Lions have absolutely moved forward.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you were talking about the Chargers on the burnout.
The
I'm
Chargers
sorry.
aren't taking that step when they should be.
No,
I
yeah.
think we're seeing the same thing happen with the Bills too, where they've had this expectation for so long and they're just not living up to it. And it's
Yeah, and that's like that shit's going to boil over and explode before the season's over.
It really feels like this year's Chargers are last year's Bills, kind of. And
Yeah.
like, because like the Bills last year, you kind of felt with that Von Miller edition, but then Von Miller, you lose him almost, right as you need him. And with the Chargers, it's always a player gets injured, but it's always Mike Williams who sets you back.
The Bills have been like the Bills have been the bully of their division for a few years.
Yeah.
And this year, there's finally a couple teams that can push back and at least make things tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Chargers at least had the Chiefs standing in their way, whereas the Bills, I mean, they also had the Chiefs standing there, but like no real excuses.
Yeah, this year, I mean, the Dolphins, I guess, are their big excuse.
I mean, I get they beat the crap out of the Dolphins.
They did.
Though. Of course, that was in the month of the Bills, September.
But it's not just about the head to head. It's like the other teams in their division are winning the games outside of the division too. And like being able to keep pace and win loss.
How did the Bills lost to the Patriots? The Bills just like aren't good against their own division.
Yeah, and they lost to the Jets.
Jets, like you are losing all of your divisional games. Stop it.
I mean, the Bills just flat aren't good.
Stop.
That they're a team with turmoil going on right now. That's being covered up well.
We're gonna find out tomorrow.
One of my preseason predictions is playing out.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Leslie Frazier, that was a huge loss for this team. The defensive coordinator, Leslie Frazier. I mean, I said it was as big as
he just flat didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah, he did not want to be there. Something happened between him and McDermott, which I don't like. Personally, I don't like seeing the turmoil on the staff because I do like Sean McDermott. He's a former. He had to start as an Eagle under Andy Reid.
Okay.
So I've always liked and rooted for. I kind of loosely root for Reid's coaching tree to succeed because it makes him a better coach. I think that's part of what makes him a better coach than Belichick is his coaching tree.
Right. It's
or
funny,
what can.
We could see with the Panthers, the commies, one of his coaching tree take over for another one of his coaching tree, like Ron Rivera, an Andy Reid
absolutely
disciple, and we could see him get replaced by an Andy Reid disciple.
Yeah, but I think that you might see two Andy Reid disciples lose their job this year. Which, because I mean,
can't have the entire tree succeed, right?
Yeah. But hey, Sirianni's technically a part of the Andy Reid tree.
Well, I think it was like how you got your job, really, how you got that job, your head coaching job, who you were under at that time.
I know. Hey, and how about what was it a fourth walk-off? This next one? Where we had a guy come back who hasn't played and the team desperately wants to move on from him, and he can prevent that from happening by doing shit like this. Coming out there and leading comeback wins at the end of the fucking game. Get him, Tyler.
And who you were talking about, the Cardinals
the
Falcons 25-23.
Yeah. Kyler Murray with a rushing touchdown in today's game. 19 of 32 for 249 over in the win.
And an interception.
He did have an interception.
He didn't look that bad. Like for his first game back, he made a lot of plays, a lot of good plays. He was using his legs. He looked like the Kyler Murray of old for a lot of it,
Yeah, and I think it's more encouraging to see him get a rushing touchdown than it is to see him getting a passing touchdown.
And dude, some of the
off an ACL
today where he's escaping the pocket, he's running around.
He was running fine. Looked great.
Yeah. Very
good to see. It's good to see. You hope for more from that. The Falcons are in some trouble. They have two quarterbacks who don't particularly look very good.
What they say
today. Yeah, but he did not look particularly good when he was out there today.
Yeah.
He didn't
I
look
mean, it's not like he got injured on the first play and
I mean,
all of a sudden it came out. I mean, he,
right, but and it's not like he was your backup who played today. Ritter was your starter.
yeah, exactly. And
Now,
Ritter's
like when you got two quarterbacks, you got no quarterback, right?
exactly. And they
And yeah,
didn't.
they had oh my god, they had as a team 70 whole passing yards between these two guys.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
is
I
this
mean,
even a game? They had 184 rushing yards.
because
That's
rushing.
He
out.
finally,
Bijan-
gave the ball to Bijan.
Bijan,
Finally got a
fucking
touchdown out of him.
just give it to Bijan.
I mean,
Jesus
Desmond
Christ.
Ritter did get a rushing touchdown today.
Hey, yeah, that's right. At the end there, that's what got them ahead, right? That's what pulled them ahead there to make
Yeah.
it like 23-17, something like that.
Hey, and if you look at Atlanta's
Or
receiving,
19, I
their
don't
top three receivers are the three that you would want to be your top three receivers. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson.
The leader amongst them was 3 for 36 yards.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't good, but at least they tried to get them
Oh man,
involved.
your
Sneaky,
quarterback's only throwing for 70 yards. There's
yeah,
not many
sneaky.
yards.
We're always bitching about them not getting Kyle Pitts and Drake London and Bijan Robinson involved. At least today they did. They just suck.
Yeah.
Not those guys.
Their coach, guys. They gotta get rid of
You'd think, but I
him.
mean,
It's just terrible.
I don't know.
Just
Maybe
he
There's
wasn't
no way
good
that dude
la-
makes it another season. There's no way.
he hasn't been good his entire time there.
No.
Nobody understands how he made it this far or this long.
Because he was
Like,
born on third base.
yeah, but that doesn't mean you got to keep
He was-
rewarding it. Like
He
Jesus
was born to
Christ.
the son of like some Washington head guy.
He was
got pushed right
thought he
into the
was-
door and into the NFL.
I thought it was like FedEx or something. That dude that was like
Huh?
Either way, he deserves to lose his job. Like, it's horrible. Just Jesus Christ.
who his I thought his dad ran like FedEx or some shit. I don't
What?
know. But the dude, like,
I think his dad was front office for some team.
I don't think his dad was involved in football at all.
Smith's father is FedEx founder and former CEO.
See? Knew his FedEx, something with FedEx, but he is the founder of FedEx. His
yeah,
father is FedEx.
That's how he got the job with Washington.
I can't-
His dad, yeah, founded, and that's how he's somehow got the job.
I mean, he's with Atlanta though.
Because
Did he-
Arthur Smith was from
I think
Tennessee. He was with Tennessee.
Yeah,
Wasn't he? I thought he was with Washington at one point, or like he got to start there.
quality control coach for the Redskins. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, the Reskins in 2007. So yes, he did start there. But that's also he like grew up there. Like a lot of guys, can start their coaching stuff of where they're from. It's not like the most outlandish thing. But
Right,
he did
but
well enough in those
Did
roles.
Washington play at FedEx Field?
Yeah, but he did well enough in those roles at least to,
Did he? You
I-
think?
I mean, with the Titans, he spent a long time with the Titans. He was there from 2011 to 2020. He started as a defensive quality control coach, then went offensive quality control, offensive line and tight ends, then assistant tight ends, full on tight ends coach,
Yeah, and then
and
he
then
just
offensive coordinator.
when Mike LaFleur left, be the Packers head coach. Okay.
I mean, yeah, I don't obviously from 2011 to 2020 was probably not peak Titans football. I'm not going to sit here and say it was, but they kept him
Okay.
around for a good number of
He-
for 9 years. So, I mean, that says
He
something
had-
of his work
He
ethic
was the offensive coordinator when the
or his
Titans
dad's
took the
money.
run to and lost to us in the AFC Championship.
He was in 2019
when
to
he made
2020.
Tannehill look decent.
He did, and Jonnu Smith had played well in
He made
down in
Tannehill.
Tennessee.
He got Tannehill paid.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm not going to sit on here and defend Arthur Smith's job credentials for him because the Falcons
No.
are fucking bad. He
They're really
deserved.
bad.
There's no excuse for him to keep his job after this year. So if he does, it's totally based on who his dad is. I'll agree right there.
Somehow.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how, but it is his dad's paying his contract.
Yeah, FedEx is doing something shady as shit to keep him around. Because no, man. I mean, but you got to appreciate a guy who at least like could have easily like just went his dad's route and been like the next CEO of FedEx, but loves football enough that he put in the grind of doing all that coaching shit.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to him.
Hey, you can do anything when you have the world's biggest safety net.
Well, okay, sure. But I'm not, look, you know, like, still, it's not easy being a quality control coach, okay? That means you are getting coffee at some point. Like,
every good coffee, you're in control of the quality of that coffee.
If
you bring me Folgers, you are fucked.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of Folgers, let's talk about the Folgers of the NFL. The Cleveland Browns.
Talk about the Cardinals game at all?
That's what, yeah. We talked about Kyler Murray being back.
Oh yeah, we're still talking about Arthur Smith being terrible.
Yeah, I mean, how do you think we got to Arthur Smith? I had a great segue for the Browns. They're the Folgers they're the Folgers coffee of the NFL.
You don't like it, but when you're in need, they're there, right? Okay. It does the job. I don't know how that applies to the Browns, but
because if you need a good laugh, there's the Browns. If you need the Ravens to lose, here's the Browns.
There's the Browns. We need those Ravens to come down a peg. That AFC North is just going to eat itself.
It's going to eat itself to where we might only realistically have one playoff team out of this division because they're all going to beat the shit out of each other.
I mean, dude, right?
Fuck it, knock them all out. They're not going to have the 1 or the 2 seed because of themselves.
3 wild card spots, so one of them has to. Like, there's got
realistically, you're right. I mean,
gotta be good. Okay, you only play 6 games in your own division. So
hey, if the Raiders and Broncos keep this streak that they have going, maybe we see 3 out of the AFC West.
I don't think any of them are that for real. Like,
I don't either.
16-12. Don't tell me they're that real of a team. Like,
how bad did the Chiefs beat up on the Jets? Right?
Chiefs
beat the shit out of them, right?
That was the 1 week Zach Wilson looked like a real quarterback.
Did the Eagles beat the Jets? Because those 2 teams were in the Super Bowl, and I think the Raiders just beat the Jets by more points than the Chiefs and Eagles combined.
Well, that's because the Eagles didn't.
I know, but it works for my argument.
That's true. You're right. The
Chiefs only won by 3 points, right? Yeah, 3.
Beat them by 3.
So I mean, let's like the Jets. The Jets
got to pump the Jets up a little bit more to make that Eagles loss not look so bad.
I'm also trying to help, but I mean, I'm proving points. The Jets,
everybody, Super Bowl teams especially, are allowed 1 bad loss a year.
They are.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm just saying the Jets.
They are.
The Jets is not a bad loss. That defense is legitimate. You have mentioned numerous times. That's a good football team. They're just missing their quarterback.
They have a great defense.
Yeah, their defense is elite almost.
Are missing a quarterback who is not going to come back this year.
No, he should not come back this year.
We need to stop these rumors.
I agree. And if he did, he's going to die because that offensive line's not very good. And that would have probably been the thing that held him back in the playoffs, would have been that offensive line.
Yeah, and at this point,
I just keep thinking, like, what if his ego lets him do it?
It's definitely impossible.
What are you going to do? Come back in December?
He goes back and
that has 6 or 7 wins.
6 plays and he's out again.
Yeah, but maybe he has it somewhere in his contract that he has to play at least 10 snaps for the Jets.
To get paid, he already gave up $30 million.
At least, like, look, man. If the Jets keep losing, at least we can get these dumb rumors over with. You know, because we all know Aaron just wants to be talked about, and that's why he's even mentioning coming back this year. Got to keep himself relevant. So, yeah. Oh, hey, guys, talk about me having the greatest recovery ever from an injury and then coming back in December and willing my team to the playoffs. No, I'm done.
If I can't win,
If the Jets don't have a shot at the playoffs, then there's no way he's coming back.
If I can't win MVP, I'm getting that comeback player of the year award. Fuck you all. Fuck you,
Can you
DeMar
get
Hamlin.
comeback-
It's mine.
Can you get comeback player of the year? Like if you're you only come back for
That
the
would
last
be the
3
most
games?
Aaron Rodgers shit of all time.
Yeah.
Would be.
Is to come back just to steal a comeback player of the year award from DeMar fucking Hamlin.
And then lose in the playoffs almost immediately.
Oh, dude. He comes back to play for him to get him their 5th win of the season. And it's not because the defense is losing them games. They're still competent, get close. They lose every game close.
Yeah. And man, I say every week, I really want Robert Saleh to just go back to be a defensive coordinator so the man can be happy again.
I know. How
The
about
man is miserable every time I see him.
he
He either
is,
just has he's either just standing there like the whole time, or he's screaming at an official or his own team. Like the dude has not been happy since. And when you saw him as a D coordinator in San Francisco, he was so happy all the time. He was like chest bumping his players.
Yeah,
and,
winning
like,
is fun.
they're
Yeah.
having a great time on the side. I
Losing
know,
sucks.
I get it. But the
They
Jets-
shouldn't. He shouldn't be having fun on the sideline right now, saying
Even-
they're not winning football games.
Even
It's-
when they're
it's
winning,
worse.
he's not having fun. He's still just
It's worse
yelling.
because he thought he was going to be winning this year. He's not.
I don't-
He's doing a lot
He
of losing.
wasn't. None of the years he's been there has it looked like he has been enjoying himself.
The
like,
season
but-
was fun for 4 plays.
But yeah, that Browns and Ravens game.
Oh, that Browns and Ravens thing. We were already talking about that, weren't we?
That's what we were trying.
We
We were
don't know how
moving
to
our way.
s- We don't
We
wanna
were-
stick to a topic.
We were moving our way towards it, and then somehow we brought up the Jets. Somehow
Yeah,
they got brought into
It
it.
was fun.
But the
uh,
Browns with that was a funny comeback.
Okay, hey man,
It looked
You were
over.
down- you were down 14 points in the fourth quarter to the Ravens.
It looked
To,
over.
like, to a team that people have been saying are the best team. They've looked like the most complete team the past like month or so.
Yeah.
Because the Ravens have just been like just handling people, right? Just like they beat up on the Lions like what was it, like 47-3 or some shit?
Yeah, they
It was
beat the fuck
embarrassing
out of them,
for 'em.
and then they just beat
The
Up on
Seahawks last week,
Seahawks
in
last
the
week.
same fashion.
38-3 or something.
They've looked so complete. Their defenses
Yeah.
look dominant. Their offense has been looking dominant. They look unstoppable. And this week you have a 14-point comeback in the fourth quarter against them.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar. I mean, with that pick 6
Yeah.
right there. I mean,
Deshaun also had a pick
and the-
6. Right? Didn't both teams get a pick 6?
I think so. But it's just the timing of the Lamar ones. Obviously, I mean, you have to look at those when they're
Yes.
coming in the fourth quarter. Those are a little worse.
Those are a lot bigger. Those are a lot
Yeah,
bigger.
especially whenever you went from having a 14-point lead to at that point you were down to a 7-point lead, and it was like what 2 plays back to back. Cleveland scored 13
Pretty much.
points.
Yeah, it was a flip of the switch, dude. I was
yeah.
like, this team's up by 14. The next time you look, you're like, it's about to be tied.
About to be tied, and then they missed the extra
And then they
point.
missed the field, dude. When they missed the extra point, you're like, oh, it's the Browns being the Browns.
Yep, it's
Oh,
Cleveland.
just the Browns thing. What are you gonna do? You're the Browns. And then no, they fucking come back. They get game-winning field goal.
Yeah, kudos to them,
Dude,
I
our
guess. But
fifth-
actually, fuck
our
them. Fuck them. I don't love
walk-off
them.
field goal of the day. Like it was insane. In the 3 o'clock block, 3 out of the 4 games ended with walk-off field goals.
It was wild.
Insane.
Wild.
What a good day of football.
This day of football did not deserve to be as good as it was. When you looked at
Yeah.
the schedule, you did not think it was going to be like this.
Yeah, the football gods took mercy on us today.
Yeah,
Really did.
so we lucked out
It was
there.
some great games.
Great games, and
Um,
hope
the-
maybe that trend will continue tomorrow. It's another game that on paper doesn't look great, but maybe it'll be enjoyable.
I mean, you got one.
No,
You
like I
got
said,
two
I think
teams
that's gonna be
going.
a sneaky good game.
You
Yeah.
have 2 teams going in different directions, right? The
Absolutely.
Bills, who just don't seem like they can find it right now, keep
Yeah.
stumbling, and then you got the Broncos, who they're finding something.
Yeah, they found some
They've
momentum.
found something.
Yeah, and then it's always a weird week when we don't have the Chiefs or Eagles to watch.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
kind of a nice, like
Yeah, it
carefree
was-
week.
It was a nice carefree week. I watched a lot of Stranger Things.
Sometimes you can sometimes
to
it's
do
really
it.
nice just relaxing and watching some football.
Yeah, let's
and
put
not
some football on
stressing.
my phone.
Stress free today.
I just red zoned that shit. Checked
Yeah,
in on my
man.
fantasy games. Watched
Hang out, watch Red Zone all day long.
yeah, I watched Stranger Things and then had red zone on my phone. I was like, I'm happy. I'm happy
Hey.
right here. I made breakfast and dinner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
But yeah,
Um,
I think
well,
we did it,
yeah.
guys.
And when you get to wake up and there's already football on, you're like,
Exactly.
oh shit, it's the middle of a football game.
Boom.
You know, woke up. It's not a good football game, but it's football.
It's competitive football game.
It was a competitive.
Because neither
It's
team wanted
close
to
the
win.
whole time.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we did it, guys.
When a team wins with 10 points. Yeesh.
Did we
Yeah,
talk about the Niners?
Yeah, we talked about them and the Jags.
a little bit.
Well,
You're right.
we
We
talked
talked
about the
the
Jags.
Jags not being as good as they should be.
Yeah, the Niners win 2 in a row, and then we'll talk.
Are the
about
Niners
it.
back?
Possibly. I mean, this is a big win off
They
a
went
bye
into
week.
Jacksonville and did that.
Yeah, that's a big
Yeah.
win.
Jacksonville's a
Big
good team.
win.
Jacksonville's not a bad team.
No, it's not a bad Jacksonville team you
We
beat
have
there.
seen the Niners have been losing to worse teams, right? So, at least I think who they lost. The Vikings, I know that one.
Yeah,
Niners, where are you at? Here you are. Who do you keep losing to? The Browns, the Vikings, the Bengals. Actually, none of those teams are bad.
Chase Young debuted today with a half a sack.
Hey,
Pretty big move.
So he's already doing better than Bosa. All right.
Yeah. Jesus, you're right. Bosa. Well,
Um,
Bosa had a sack and a half today.
oh, did he? That's the
Yeah.
best game of it, dude. That's like doubling his yearly total almost.
Javon Hargrave had a sack and a half,
Dang, they're all
well.
over it.
and then Eric Armstead had the other half sack for the Niners. But yeah,
What
the
happened
defense.
to those What happened to the Jags line, dude? It's crumbling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I don't.
Didn't
eh,
seem like the Jags did much right today. They didn't run the ball well. They didn't pass the ball well. I attribute it to me actually having to play Trevor Lawrence today. In
I did
fantasy.
my other league too, and it was great.
It was awful.
I had to play him.
I played
you
him.
You had to
Like,
play.
I was
No,
against you, Sam. At least pretend like you're paying attention. At least pretend like it.
Oh wow, I played against Trevor Lawrence in both my leagues.
Yeah, dude. And he got 2 points against you, and I'm.
Hey, in my
You
other
had
league
to-
too. My other league, the guy also had ETN.
I did too.
He didn't do shit.
Are you
either.
sure you're
And I
not
was like,
thinking about this as that this is us? Because I had ETN and
wait,
Trevor
no
Lawrence.
way. I played against Lawrence and ETN. No, dude. Look, like in my other league. Is it gonna show up?
Oh yeah. That's definitely not me because I don't have Miles Sanders or
Yeah,
Amon-Ra
no,
St.
that's
Brown
not our
there.
league at all. That's
No.
yeah. I don't have Christian McCaffrey in our other league. I'd be doing way better. Or in
Yeah,
our
you
league.
would. You would be. But yeah, guys, I think we did it.
Yeah,
As always. Exactly. As always, share the video, like the video, maybe comment. Who knows? They won't do it.
Even if it's negative, say something.
Yeah, I don't care if you say positive things. I can take criticism.